I think when it comes to taking over and inheriting farms in America, millennials are in a crisis. My husband and I had the realization in our 20s that there was no way we were going to be able to take over his family farm. In fact, they had to sell because things just got so bad. And as you know, commodity dairy market is disastrous right now for the small family farm. There are thousands of small American dairy farms closing every single year in America, and his family was one of them. Just like our family, I think a lot of millennial families are really struggling with what to do when they thought their whole lives that they would inherit or take over the family farm, and they grow up and realize that's not possible. We picked up and we decided quickly that we wanted to pivot and try a totally different model, but my husband knew he wanted to dairy farm, and we figured the only way was direct-to-consumer sales. And what's really interesting about that is in the 80s, the direct-to-consumer sales market was almost non-existent. Almost no one did that. And because commodity farming was possible, you could make a living commodity farming in the 1980s. But things have just passed by. The scale of the commodity dairy has passed us by. The 100-cow farm is no longer a sustainable model for a family dairy farm. And I wonder if we're about to see a shift and a transition into a totally different family-owned dairy model. I wonder if this new generation, especially millennials, we are resourceful and we are dedicated and driven. I think, are we driven enough to bring back the direct-to-consumer sales dairy? I know that I have a niche of tons of lovely people around my age that are starting to do this, and I just wonder if this is what we're going to see. Are we going to see us all put our heads down and change the way of the small family-owned dairy farm? And are we going to see this new direct-to-consumer dairy model, microdairies, families that take a little bit of the milk from the big dairy farm and process it on their own on the side and create their own creameries and create their own income for their families? I wonder if we're going to see this in the next, 10 years or so. Are we going to see this branch out as the new way of the small family-owned dairy farm? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.